Pain and suffering, these are two big words. When I use them, I'm not referring to the physical pain or the deep heartache that comes from losing a loved one or grief or any other difficult life situation that you may be going through. When I use the terms pain and suffering, I'm referring to the experiences that we create and perpetuate when we relive experiences over and over and over again in our heads. We do this by continuing to tell ourselves and other people the same stories, choosing to stay stuck in a specific narrative, even though it causes us pain. So this way we end up feeling like victims of life. It's when we blame and we make demands and we have expectations. This is the pain and the suffering that I'm referring to when I use this expression. The pain and suffering that's either self-created or held onto way past its expiration date. Pain, suffering, negativity, also just known as general unhappiness, is a disease on our planet. It's the equivalent to pollution, just in our inner world. As humans, we tend to believe that our happiness depends on what happens to us. We think that we can control what happens to us and that we can actually control life. We don't realize that life is the most unstable thing there is. It's completely out of our control. The only thing that we do have any control over is our reaction to the present moment. And this present moment is actually life. But instead of being deeply conscious and present in this present moment that is life, we have this tendency to look at the present moment as either ruined by something that's happened and should not have happened, or as wrong because of something that has not happened but should have happened. Many people, they go through life with this general sense of unhappiness without even really realizing that they are. They're not seeing it as something abnormal or even something that's worth changing. They're feeling moody, they're feeling low, mildly irritated, frustrated, just this general sense of dissatisfaction with life. So I want you to check in with yourself and notice, what's your general state? What's your mood's resting state when you're not entertained or engaged by something? For example, as you're walking down the street, or when you're in the shower, or when you're cooking, what sort of thoughts go through your head? What's your general mood like? Is your heart blossoming open with love and joy and gratitude? Somewhere quiet and closed? Or does it have this heaviness to it, this dull gray throbbing in your chest? Even if you're not aware of it and you're engaged in a pleasant activity, your background state can still be that of this general low-level unhappiness. And this is actually how most people live. This is a form of suffering. Unhappiness is a disease of the mind and the emotions created by the ego. Irritation, frustration, impatience, nervousness, unease, disappointment, being fed up. These are all forms of background unhappiness. Any form of complaining, no matter how mild or light, still a form of unhappiness. And these forms of background unhappiness that many people walk around with, they're not even aware of them. Most of the time, we're not aware of these states. So I want you to take a moment to notice. Notice any general background unhappiness in your life, or any unhappiness that you are completely aware of. I want you to ask yourself, which of the following thoughts apply to you? Insert your own content, but what is happening now should or should not be happening, and it's preventing me from being happy or at peace right now. You should do this or that so that I can be happy or at peace. And this thought may also go along with, maybe my resentment will make you do it. There is something that needs to happen in the future before I can be happy, at peace, fulfilled, etc. The idea that if this, that, or something else happens, or I obtain this or that, then I can. So this can also carry and I resent that this hasn't happened yet. Maybe my resentment will finally make it happen. Something that happened in the past, or something that you or I did or said or failed to do in the past is preventing me from being happy or at peace right now. If that hadn't happened, I would be at peace now. Notice how all of these different thoughts I just mentioned are either making the past or the present moment wrong, or expecting or demanding something from a future moment. Nothing is ever quite right. Not then, not now, and life has to unfold in a very specific way, otherwise it's wrong. Also be aware of any thoughts that try to justify or explain why you're unhappy. So at this point, you may be wanting to argue with me, going through all the good reasons as to why your frustrations, your resentments, your low mood, your anxiety, your hurt, your unhappiness is justifiable. I want you to notice that. The truth is that these justifications and explanations, they're actually what cause your unhappiness. If you pay attention to people's stories, you will notice that they could also be called why I cannot be happy or at peace right now. Rather than give up the unhappy stories that we've been holding on to, we come up with all these reasons why we should hold on to them, for why we should be allowed to keep them. Isn't that interesting? So I'm not going to take them from you. Nobody will. It's up to you whether you want to keep carrying them around like a little backpack, allowing them to weigh you down. Maybe it's a big backpack, and keep you in this general state of unhappiness or something worse. Or if you finally want to let them go, start fresh and change your life. That's what this is about.
If you found this useful, don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to know more about working with me, click the links. I always offer a free connection call to new and potential clients, so don't hesitate to contact me.